Hello and welcome to WBGO Studios. I'm Gary Walker, and this year WBGO celebrates its 44th birthday. And how do we do that? Well, with special events like the one we're about to share with you here today. This is a man who grew up in Jersey. His duets with his father are legendary. He has recorded with both James Taylor and Sir Paul McCartney. He's given us the Sinatra songbook, something he knows about after touring around Europe and around America with the legendary Francis Albert. We've heard the Ellington songbook, the Nat Cole songbook. He's always in search of new standards. And with a resume like that, you might ask yourself, well, what the hell is he doing here? I'll tell you what he's doing here. He's hip. And as we all know, he likes Jersey best. Please welcome to WBGO Studios on the bass, Mike Karn. All right. And on the piano, the recent winner of the U.S. American Piano Competition. We'll talk about that a little bit later. He has a new recording out, Power of the Spirit. You'll feel that spirit today on piano. We have Isaiah J. Thompson. And that search for standards never ends. And this time out, just out. That search focuses on stage and screen. What a pleasure. I invite you to join me in welcoming to WBGO Studios guitarist John Pizzarelli.
A one, a two, three. Be wise, be smart, behave, my heart. Don't upset your cart when she's so close. Be soft, be sweet, but be discreet. Don't go off your beat. She's so close for comfort. Too close for comfort, please. Not again. Too close, I know just when to say when. Be firm, be fair, be sure, beware. On your guard, take care. While there's such temptation, one thing leads to another. Too late to run for cover. She's much too close for comfort now. upset your cart when she's so close. Be soft, be sweet, but be discreet. Don't go off your beat. She's so close for comfort. Too close for comfort, please not again. Too close to know just when to say when. Be firm, be fair, be sure, beware. On your guard, take care while there's such temptation. One thing leads to another, too late to run for cover. She's much too close for comfort now. That wasn't bad.
Oh, that wasn't bad. Well, I guess we're ready to go now.
Yeah, let's run.
You know, Randy Napoleon once said that Freddie Cole was a musical GPS. I would assume that John Pizzarelli, from all of his years, starting out with Uncle Bobby and Uncle Pete, and of course your legendary father, and all the work on the road, you must know thousands upon thousands of tunes.
No, Freddie Cole wins. Easily wins.
You think?
Freddie Cole used to, like when we're on the jazz cruise, when we were on the jazz cruise with Freddie, he would find you in the afternoon, and he'd just sit next to you and sing tunes. And you'd just go, oh my God, I don't know any of these tunes. And they were great, all great songs. He knew, I think he easily wins. But I hide it well. I think I would be in about 8th place.
Too Close for Comfort. Mr. Wonderful, 1956. I think Sammy Davis Jr. played that
You
part.
are correct, sir.
Yeah.
Move on to the next round.
Well, that's pretty much the thank you gift, and I'm on my way home. But the search for the standard is an ongoing thing. I remember it was 1994, and I was hanging out one afternoon with my good friend Steve Backer.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says, hey, Pizzarelli's over at NOLA. Let's stop over there. Right? So we stopped over to the legendary NOLA Studios.
Yeah.
You know, Bill Evans, Errol Garner, so many others have recorded there.
Charlie Parker with strings also.
Yes, Charlie Parker with strings. And so we sat down, and John started into this tune, gorgeous tune about lost love. And he turned and he said, you know, Rosie Clooney told me about this tune. And the tune was called I'm All Right Now.
Yeah.
And when he reached the end of the tune, he says, you know, at the end, Bucky, he called his dad Bucky, short for Buckskin, and he said, I want you to do a little flourish at the end. So the end of the tune came, and then came the flourish, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And John said, Bucky, I didn't ask you to play the entire fake book.
That's like that. That's a great lick. Just do 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 do. It was fantastic. It was in the right spot.
And reminds me of, you know, the afternoons I would spend at Waterloo Village, watching your dad, and the sign painter from New Jersey, Tal Farrell, sit on a couple of folding chairs, and just make magic.
Those are some of my first real gigs in the jazz world out at Waterloo Village with Bucky. We did so many summers, and one of the last times I played with Zoot Sims was there too. The three of us played, and Zoot sat in with us, and then Kenny DeVerne sat in with the three of us. So we had that was 84. So,
and this is the same guy, folks, who would play Zoot Sims in games of ping pong.
Yeah.
Zoot, who not only brought his own saxophone case, but also had his own ping pong paddle case.
Yeah, his own ping pong paddle. And what he did, too, was they would play after the half note. And Wayne Wright had, I think Wayne Wright had like ping pong shoes. And that freaked Zoot out so much that he had a paddle case made. So like, well, I'm going to take my paddle out now. He was a really good. He could hold his scotch in his left hand and play ping pong with his right hand. And if you hit a ball that spilled the scotch, the game was going to end rather quickly.
But still have time to impart musical knowledge to young John Pizzarelli when he said, you got to get laid.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
From Zoot Sims. But you figure growing up in a household with people like Les Paul, you know, who were frequent guests at the house, just by assimilation, some of this playing had to find its way into a young mind that started out with Robin Trower and and others, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I had the bands all through high school, and then actually, it was because I ran into a guy at a day camp that I worked at for years called Knights Day Camp, and for hobby hour, I had the music kids with another guitar player. His name was Mike Taplinger, and he said, "You're Bucky Pizzarelli?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I studied with Barry Galbraith." He said, "We should play together," and that's when my father showed me the 7-string guitar and how to accompany. And like instead of this, you have, and it was sort of the create a walking bass line. And Bucky had been doing that for 10 years at that point, and so I sort of learned playing with Mike. And then when I got out of college and started to work with my father, the first gig was at the Morristown Library, and he said, "Bring the 7-string and just play that instead." I was like, do we get a chance to practice? It was on-the-job training all the time with him.
Sure, I'll bet.
So that was that.
Stage and screen, the source of the standards.
2 for 1
on
this one,
this new recording here. You get 2 for 1. It's the latest from John, and he's no stranger to Broadway with the show Dream.
Yeah.
Leslie Ann Warren, I think.
That was my
there.
first and last appearance on the Broadway stage, but I did get to meet Jessica Molaskey doing that show, so that worked out very well for me.
Who turned out to be Mrs. John Pizzarelli.
That's right.
And they would go on and create magic and kids.
That's right.
And a wonderful radio deluxe show that's on over 100 stations around the country.
Yeah.
And your father also did some Broadway work.
Yeah, actually.
In Peg, where he played Peggy Lee's husband,
he
right?
played Dave Barber on the show, and it's one of the first times I heard my father say "I love you" to somebody, and it was to Peggy Lee, because it was in the script. He said, "I love you, Peg." I was like, wait a second. And he actually sounded like he meant it, which was very exciting.
We're with John Pizzarelli, Mike Carn on the bass, there's A.J. Thompson on the piano. What are we going to hear next?
Well, we spoke about stage and screen. The newest song on the record is written by Jason Robert Brown, and it's called "I Love Betsy." So I'm going to even put my glasses on. Oh, there it is. Okay, so here is "I Love Betsy" from
Pizzarelli.
Honeymoon in Vegas. I like taxis, I like trains, I like Brooklyn when it rains, but I love Betsy. I like walking after dark, I like jogs in Prospect Park, but I love Betsy. I like Shake Shack, I like MoMA, and New Jersey's ripe aroma, the parades when I see 'em, and even the DMV. And the Brooklyn Bridge by bike. Heck, there's lots of stuff I like, but I love Betsy, and she loves me. She likes hockey, no I swear. She likes guys with thinning hair, and I love Betsy. She likes pizza and Chinese, Louboutins and mac and cheese. God, I love Betsy. She likes swimming, writing letters. She likes watching double headers. She drinks bourbon and sake and even likes Rocky III. I'm amazed and I'm impressed, but the thing that I like best is I love Betsy, and she loves me. I like dancing on the pier. I like Broadway once a year, but I love Betsy. I like visits to the zoo. I like opera, that's not true, but I love Betsy. It's been years now and I'm ready. Get the sparklers and confetti. Give a wink to the waiter and summon the maitre d'. just like Jay-Z and Beyonce. I will make her my fiance. I love Betsy, and she loves me. I love Betsy, and she loves me.
You passed the audition, man. Yeah.
There you go.
I like Betsy.
I love Betsy.
I love Betsy.
She likes everything else, but he loves
you
Betsy.
love her. Uh-huh. Now this, the Broadway and the film scheme of this new recording goes to the mid-20s all the way up to the more contemporary stuff like what we just heard.
Yes, it does. And basically, a lot of the tunes came out of us playing on the road when we finally got back to. Isaiah only did 3 or 4 gigs in 2020 up till March 12th. And then we reconvened late in the year of 2021 when we finally got back on the road. And we were just picking tunes. And I do I do like Thursday nights on Facebook on my official page. And I'd take requests. And so I started to look at what the favorites were and all the things that we were listening to during the pandemic. And that's how the record turned out. And when I put the list of songs on the desk, I said, well, what's the theme? And I said, stage and screen, for lack of a better term. So that's how it worked out.
Yeah. And you've also been on the road with our good friend Catherine Russell.
Yeah.
Blue Eyes and Billy is a wonderful show that
much.
goes Frank Sinatra and
Yeah,
Billie
I get
Holiday.
to go first, luckily, in that show. I do my 40 minutes, and then Catherine comes on, and nobody remembers that I was on the stage.
On that last tune, I Love Betsy,
Yeah.
Along with Mike Karn on the bass, I noticed that Isaiah J. Thompson was putting just a little bit more into that tune because he has an affinity for Betsy as well.
Yeah, he's got one.
A different kind of Betsy, a Betsy that got him from one gig to the next and one lesson to the next. When he was a young man, Betsy was an old Volvo.
Ah.
And this man sitting over
Is that
here
right?
just recently was awarded the 2023 American Pianist Award in Indianapolis,
Bravo.
Indiana. And you have to know something. This guy knows something about piano players.
Yeah, they have 88 notes. No, well, that's the thing. I heard Isaiah when he was 16 as part of the Jazz House Kids. He came up to the Jacob Burns Film Center as part of their film month, Jazz Film Month. And we all played together. And I remember thinking, boy, that piano player is fantastic. He's something else. And I said, I thought to myself, I could hire him, but he's still got to go to the prom. So he was only 16, So then when the position opened up at the piano, I called Christian McBride. I actually wrote him, and I said, who are all the young guys playing the piano? I'd like to keep a piano player for more than 80 minutes. And the first name was Isaiah J. Thompson. I said, I think that's that guy. Said to my daughter, find him on Facebook. And she went, click, 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 click. I said, there he is. And the rest is history. But, I mean, you can't find actually, both of these gentlemen are as fine as gentlemen as they come on the planet. And it's an honor to work with them on a nightly basis.
But I'm thinking, piano players like John Bunch and Dave McKenna and young Larry Fuller, who I first saw when he was 16 playing with Ernestine Anderson.
That's right.
And they almost asked him to leave at Lincoln Center. The security guard said, you can't hang out here. And Ernestine came, thank God she came out of her dressing room. She said, what's the issue here? He said, this guy's hanging out back here. She goes, he's my pianist.
And he played with Ray Brown, went to play with Ray Brown's last piano player, Larry Fuller. And we had Ray Kennedy, too, who was such a fine piano player for many years from St. Louis. So.
And now we have Isaiah J. Thompson.
Boom.
Maybe we can feature him.
Yeah,
on
you want to
something?
play a little High Fly for us? Randy Weston's High Fly from his album Composed in Color. Isaiah J. Thompson, ladies and gentlemen.
The 2023 winner of the APA, the American Pianists Association Award. Congratulations, sir.
In high school, I won the award, Guitarist Least Likely to Succeed.
You did?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
You proved them all wrong.
All three of them.
By the way, Isaiah's new recording is The Power of the Spirit.
Yeah.
And you can capture that power of that spirit, captured live at Dizzy's Club.
It's a hell of a record.
In New York City, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
You've played Dizzy's. You've
I
played
a couple of times there, yeah.
Yeah.
I did Marion McPartland's tribute there when Marion mixed it. I think her 90th birthday or something.
Uh-huh.
Played with John Bunch that night. As a matter of fact.
Yes. I think we broadcast that live.
Yeah, there you go.
If I'm not mistaken.
It works for both of us.
Yes. Let me tell you something about this guy. The stories are so rich that inform the playing that looks so easy. And it's so fluid the way you play.
Well, it's the 40th year since my first record as a vocalist. That Jersey Best record was in May of 83.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only taken 40 years to look like it's easy.
A long overnight sensation.
That's right.
But you can read about all the sensational parts of this guy's life in a book called World on a String, which I had the pleasure of reading, and I clicked the wrong damn button, and I got the audiobook instead.
The audiobook's very exciting.
And then I thought, this is fabulous. I can close my eyes and listen to John Pizzarelli tell me his story.
That's right. Fall asleep at any time.
And I mean, and the connections. I'm thinking of, late night in New York, playing some of the clubs and things.
Yeah.
And then getting back to the garage and the door was locked.
Right, yeah.
So what do, man, when the door's locked? And that's happened to me, too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the night that I saw Sinatra, and I had parked my car across from Carnegie Hall, and I had gone out with some friends, and I went to get the car, and the garage door was locked. So I thought it was a 24-hour lot. So I went into the building, and I called Jasbo Collins on WNEW.
Radio saves the day.
He said, oh, no. And actually, first he said, I don't think this is John Pizzarelli. Sing Route 66, when you had to keep putting dimes in. And so I'm going, if you ever plan a motor. He goes, keep going. And I'm singing, and the doorman is there looking, who's this guy singing on the phone? And then he said, don't worry, John, we'll come and get you, and we'll get you a ride home. And he said, okay, fellas. And the fellas were all of his friends who were taxi cab drivers.
Yeah.
He said, Pizzarelli's on the corner of 56 and 7th. Go find him. And literally, it was like bees to honey. I mean, they were coming around, and their guys going, Jasbo. and they said, oh, no, this guy was first. He'll take you for free over to Jasbo. So they took me over to NEW on the other side of town, and a guy called in and said, I'll take him home if he plays nuage with me on the guitar. I'll bring the guitars. And this guy drove in from New Jersey and gave me a guitar. Again, he went. And we played nuage about 52 times. And at 5 a.m., he drove me home. It was like his name was Turnpike Jerry or something. He was a turnpike toll taker. As we went through the thing, he waved and the guys waved. It was a whole scene. But I got home and luckily had not locked the door to my apartment, so I got into the apartment. And the rest of the story I'll tell on next week's episode.
As time goes by with John Pizzarelli.
Certainly.
Stage and Screen is the new recording, and this has got to be the only guy that I could think of that could take that famous song from Casablanca. What happened to Dooley Wilson? I read the other day that they were considering casting the part of Sam.
Yeah.
Lena Horne or Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh, wow. Because Ella Fitzgerald played like that kind of character in the movie with Jack Webb, Pete Kelly's Blues. She was sort of the singer, and she was always, and all that music that she made with Ellis Larkins, that record, Black Coffee and all those things. All those songs are from one of those things.
Yeah, just the two of them.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, gorgeous.
But I thought, speaking of that, the ballads and things, I thought maybe we'd play T for Two for you, because during the pandemic, we I remember watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and in one of the scenes, there she was early in the morning, and the background music was Blossom Dearie singing Tea for Two as a ballad. And I'd always loved the song. It was from the first gig that I did as a union member in 1979 at Michael's Pub. And so I always loved the song. So I thought, does that be all right if we played that for you?
Mike Karn on bass, Isaiah J. Thompson on piano, and our special guest today, John Pizzarelli from Stage and Screen.
I'm discontented with homes that are rented, so I have invented my own. Darling, this place is a lover's oasis where life's weary chase is unknown. Far from the cry of the city, where flowers pretty caress the stream. Cozy to hide in, to live side by side in. Don't let it abide in my dream. Darling, picture you upon my knee. Just tea for two and two for tea. Me for you and you for me alone. There'll be nobody near us to see us or hear us. No friends or relations on weekend vacations. We won't have it known, dear, that we own a telephone. Day will break and you'll awake and start to bake a sugar cake that we will take for all the boys to see, dear. We will raise a family, a boy for you and a girl for me. Can't you see how happy we would be? tea for two, two for tea. Just me for you and you for me alone. There'll be nobody near us to see us or hear us. No friends or relations on weekend vacations. We won't have it known, dear, that we own a telephone. Dear, oh, day will break and we'll awake and start to bake a sugar cake that we will take for all the boys to see, dear. We will raise a family, a boy for you and a girl for me. Can't you see how happy? Can't you see how happy? Can't you see how happy we would be?
I like that rendition, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You and Blossom Dearie actually were friends, right?
In a sense, yes. Actually, one of the first television shows I did on a cable show, she was the other guest. And I had never seen her in person, only the cover of that album, which she has the glasses on, and she's singing into the microphone, and I was absolutely madly in love with her. I just, that record with Ray Brown and Herb Ellis and Joe Jones and her playing piano, I think it's just called Blossom Dearie. I played that record all over New Jersey.
Yeah.
In my Datsun 210, going to William Patterson and everything, just think, oh man. And then I met her, so it'd been 83. It was only 30 years later that I was like, well, is that the same person? You know?
Now, was that New York Tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was, it was great. She was great fun, and it just, it was a singular sound.
Your travels have taken you across the country, into the studio with James Taylor, into the studio with Sir Paul McCartney, who actually, called you and said, I'd like you to come down and be part of this. And, of course, touring the world with the legendary Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, that's 30 years this June that we did 6 concerts in Germany and then 12 concerts in the United States. Got to play the Garden State Arts Center when it was called that, with my dad and in front of that band, and watch Sinatra listen to us in the wings. That was pretty wild. And in those days, I was 33, so I'd already played a couple of good halls. But I mean, we played for 20,000 people in Hamburg, and we played basically for Stuttgart. Sinatra's coming, they set up chairs, and Stuttgart came. And it was just, okay, there they are. It's Stuttgart, ladies and gentlemen. There's nobody home. And it was just, I'd been at Nobody's Inn for 50, if I was lucky, in Mahwah. So that was just nuts. But I mean, you couldn't be the only other thing I think that you could do that would rival that would be like, opening for the Rolling Stones, where you could say, I'd like some Bronzino, Frank, and you'd get it.
One of your good buddies, who actually was on record with you, was the trombonist Mike Davis.
Yeah.
And Mike Davis played with the Rolling Stones.
Oh, right, yeah.
Went out on the road with him. His very first gig was Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
And he's standing backstage, and Mick and Keith. And he looks over to Keith and he peeks out around the curtain and goes, wow, you guys must have a hell of a mailing list. Jazz guys will get there, right?
Yeah, we sure do.
But see, John Pizzarelli can look over his shoulder almost 100 years to 1924 for that tune that we just heard this morning. And also the piece that Fred Astaire made famous in the film where he dances on the ceiling.
Yes, that's right.
That's also one of them.
You're All the World to Me. Yeah. It's a great song. And you think we can do it? You have yours? Like I have mine, as a matter of fact. I have it. Actually, there it is. So can we play it for you? Yeah. I always thought it was a different song. Actually, everybody thinks it was "Dancing on the Ceiling." But,
right.
But you can go on. To YouTube and see exactly how they did it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting
how they turn the cameras.
Yeah, stare to dance upside down. It's really amazing.
It's fantastic, and it's one of the fantastic selections that's on this new recording, John Pizzarelli, stage and screen, and what an honor to have him here in New Jersey.
Thank you very much.
Today at WBGO. Enjoy, folks.
You're like Paris in April and May. You're New York on a silvery day. A Swiss Alp as the sun grows fainter. You're like Loman when autumn is the painter. You're moonlight on a night in Capri, and Cape Cod looking out at the sea. You're all places that leave me breathless, and no wonder you're all the world to me. Your Lake Como when dawn is aglow. Your Sun Valley right after a snow. A museum, a Persian palace. You're my shining aurora borealis. You're like Christmas at home by a tree. The blue calm of a tropical sea. You're all places that leave me breathless, and no wonder you're all the world to me. And we did that standing up. It was pretty good.
That was tough, man, dancing on the ceiling while you were playing that.
It's a great song. There's a great Bill Charlap just recorded that on his Street of Dreams record too. It's so beautiful, and Tony Bennett made a great record of that years ago. It was just wonderful.
Yeah,
it's a good song.
How do you narrow down? I'm sure with Stage and Screen, the new recording, you probably had about 150 tunes going in, right?
Honestly, no. I just used. I may have had. I don't know if we had any extras really that I remember of. It was more about stuff we played on the road, and then I filled in the blanks with stuff I had from my requests on the Thursday nights, and everything seemed to work really well. When you have really good musicians, we would sit and go, well, that's going to work. It just worked out very, very well. I was fortunate. I try not to bring 150 tunes. I never really had that many for any real project. Maybe 20 would be the most to get to 12. And now, of course, you need 19 hours to fill a CD. So it is, 14 songs is hard.
But you possess this magnificent versatility. I mean, ask yourself, folks, who else do you know that could sing from Casablanca time after time, right?
As time goes by.
As time goes by, as if it were Bob Dylan sitting there.
All right. Yeah, we could do, let's see. Oh, yeah. You must remember this. Oh, kiss, still a kiss. Yeah, sigh's just a sigh. That's pretty good, actually, off the cuff.
Look for John and the guys at Newport at the Folk Festival this summer.
That's right.
You'll fool them all, man.
There.
Thank you so much for coming by WBGO today, man. It's really a pleasure.
Yeah.
And just a hoot, man, to sit and chat. And Mike, thank you for doing it. And Isaiah, good to see you again, man.
As a matter of fact, thank you, WBGO, for providing a forum for us for 44 years and being the place where all of our records can get played and being the voice of jazz in the metropolitan area.
You make our jobs so much easier, man.
hope.
What are we going to go out with?
We'll
here
go out
today?
with I Want to Be Happy. How about that?
There you go. Made you happy today, I hope.
Yeah.
John Pizzarelli, ladies and gentlemen. And for more information, your website,
JohnPizzarelli.com, for all of your John Pizzarelli needs.
There you go, folks. Stage and screen, folks. That's what it's all about. JohnPizzarelli.com for more information. And the new record, it looks like this. And you find out more. Thank you, man, and thank you, folks. You make all of this possible.
Yeah.
We do this for you, and we do it because of you. And the last hour, we've even saved you some money because we've all been on Pizzarelli power, haven't we? JohnPizzarelli.com, stage and screen, you know what I mean? It's just part of who we are because of who you are supporting WBGO, and this is one of the ways that we thank you.